Have you guys ever heard parents complaining about their kids, about how they don't listen, how all they do is just play video games, social media, watch TV, or how they have behavioral issues, depression, anger, how parents just can't connect with their kids anymore? Well, you're not alone. A lot of parents face that same problem. And that's one thing that I've noticed talking with my coworkers is that this is a big problem, not only in America, but all around the world right now. So, on this edition of Wisdom Wednesday, we're going to touch on that point. What are we doing wrong with kids? Is it our fault? Is it their fault? Whose fault is it? But more importantly, what can we do about it to help them? Let's dive into it. So, I believe two of the main problems that we face with our kids is their physical health and their mental health. Right? Let's break these down. So, if we start off with the physical, right? I was reading that 1 in 3 teens is pre-diabetic. That comes from the CDC. I mean, that's a huge number. That's upwards of 30%. And one of the big reasons is because kids nowadays, they don't move anymore. They don't go outside and play. They don't do a lot of the things that we used to do. So I grew up in the 80s and 90s, right? And we were outside all the time. One of the things I remember is we used to play depending on what season it was. You know what I mean? In the summer, we used to play soccer. We used to play baseball. Then as it got cold, we would go into football. And then after football, we would play basketball. And then if not, we were out riding bikes. We were out exploring. We were always outside. We was always doing something. We were very active. And I mean, I remember we ate like crap. We used to eat these very sugary cereals. We used to eat burgers. We used to eat hot dogs. We had a very bad diet. I believe that hasn't changed. The only difference is we got away with it because we were so active. You move fast forward into the future, which is now, and kids really don't do much. A lot of their time is spent playing video games on the TV with their friends or scrolling on their phone, social media. That's definitely something that needs to improve. The other thing is our kids' mental health, right? I grew up, and one thing that I can remember is that it was very hard to spend time with my dad because my dad was always working. He always had one or two jobs, and being an alcoholic didn't help because when he wasn't working, he was drinking or he was partying with his friends. So, I mean, I can count on one hand the number of times I actually spent time with my dad where we actually connected. And I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm not acting as a victim here. I'm just telling the facts and how it was. And I believe that we have the same problem now. A lot of parents have two jobs because they have to have two jobs. You know, to make ends meet in this country and anywhere else, you got to work more. Inflation, taxes, everything just continues to go up while our pay continues to stay the same. So we spend more time with our coworkers, we spend more time with them than we do with our kids. So who's raising our kids? Social media, our teachers, their friends, our culture. Everybody seems to get in on them. Everybody seems to put info inside their brains except us. And we are the most important thing in our kids' lives. So I strongly believe that the best way to show love is to spend time with your kids. Love is spelled Time. And I know it's hard for a lot of people. It's hard because you got to work, you got things to do. But I've noticed that if it's not your job, then it's technology. You know, you're spending too much time on your phone, you're spending too much time online, watching TV. And yeah, a lot of us are guilty of that. And you're doing that instead of spending time with your kid because you're tired of working so much that you just want to relax. Last thing you want to do is go outside and play with your kids. And which brings me to the next point, which connects to all of this. You're just lazy. You know, But you have to find something deep inside of you to muster up that energy, that motivation to go do something with your kids. Yeah, I know sometimes it's hard because you're tired, you're stressed out. That's the last thing you're thinking about. But trust me, that's one thing you will not regret when you're older, is spending time with your kids. And I mean, how can I do this, right? I mean, one of the things I remember doing is making sure at least one out of the 3 meals we all ate together without our phones, and we actually talked. We talked about our day, some of the things that we wanted to do, what are our dreams? Did you see that movie? What are we doing on the weekend? That's one way, and it's very easy to just sit down in a table with your kids and just talk. Make sure you put your phones away. Another good one that you can do is just a sleep routine. When you're putting your kids away for bed, when you're tucking them in, talk with them a little. Bedtime story. Find a way to connect there too. If your kids enjoy going outside and playing sports or anything, you might not, but they do. So what if I have to sacrifice myself and go outside and play soccer with my son for once, or basketball or baseball, or go out walking, or take him somewhere where he wants to go? It's just something that we need to do. As parents, we are responsible for those kids. We are responsible for raising responsible adults. That's one thing that I understand now with me raising 3 kids, is that when your kids are born all the way up to when they are 18 and they move out of the house and they pay their own bills, they have their own cars, their own families, up until they're born to 18, they are your kids. You are responsible for them. Okay? You do everything you can to teach them. But after 18, once they move out and they start doing their own thing, then you can become their friend. Then it's a different kind of relationship, because a lot of parents get this backwards. They try to be their kids' friends in the beginning, and then later on, when they're all screwed up, then they try to fix them. It doesn't work like that. All right, so my break's almost over. Gotta get back to that 9 to 5, that ball and chain. But just to conclude this and close this out, spend time with your kids, guys. You won't regret it. That's something that I wish my father would have done with me, and that's something that I did right with my kids. Could I have done better? Yes. And then you might say, "Oh, but you say on your videos that you have 2 jobs and then you have a side hustle and you work 70 to 80 hours." Yes, I do. And that's because my sons are all grown up now. But back then, when they were growing up, I only had 1 job. So if you're going to grind, if you're going to go after your goals and do all these things, make sure you do it after your kids are all grown up. If you have kids and they're young, you still have time. Remember, your kids are a mirror onto you. They are the image of you. So don't blame your kids. Start with you. You are the one that makes that change. You are the one that raises responsible kids. It starts with you guys. And I'll leave you guys with this. This is one of my favorite jokes when I was a kid growing up. It goes something like this. What did the shark say after he ate the clown? It tastes kind of funny. So I'll leave you guys with that. I hope you guys have a great day. If you guys have any suggestions or any comments, make sure you drop them down below. I appreciate you guys coming on Wisdom Wednesday. You guys have a great day. And remember, spend time with your kids.